Hey guys, how's it going? Mike Aubrey here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. So welcome to our next WCUAV webcast. So joining me as always is Princess Aaliyah. Hello, Princess Aaliyah. And our guest today is CEO of Drone Deploy, Mike Nguyen. Mike, thanks for being with us today. We really appreciate you being here. So guys, a quick announcement that Princess.
Great to be here.
Thanks for being here. So, guys, a quick announcement of what some stuff that Princess Leia wanted me to go over with you is if you haven't been to the website lately, you should go and you should check it out. So, what right here is there's a revamp of the website, so you'll see that it's got a nice, cleaner look and feel to it. There's a lot of new content on here, and it looks great. Nice job. So check this guy out. And so on this stuff, it's still pretty similarly set out as you saw before there, where we still have teams, but there's a new link now. You can see that there's all the webinars are nicely prominently displayed. So if you guys haven't seen all of them, there's a lot of nice postings here, so you can see what's coming up in the future. So there's your schedule along with the ones we have in the past. So the information has always been there, just as it's a nice, more streamlined way to get to it. And really did a nice job.
Well, thanks. Can you point out the grants, where they can see the grants? So that's under teams.
So guys, here we got this thing. You still have your rules and space here, but this grant space, there's a lot of different sponsors that are involved in this process. You guys have been on many of these webinars where we talked about it. So you can see all the different spaces there. So like with Drone Deploy Day, if you like what you see here, go check out this link here. And this is where you guys can go to take advantage and sign up for all these various awesome things that we have. Did you want to add anything to that?
And I guess just one more thing where they can interact on the website now as well. Under Teams, it says interact. So that's like a chat that they can actually go on to our website, chat and interact with other teams and post stuff. Yeah.
Oh, now is this new?
Yeah, that's new.
Oh yeah, run me through this. What is this? Okay, so we got.
So you set it up. You log in.
Okay, so I log in.
Omar has already done his test.
So I need to sign up for this? Is that I would log in?
So this gives like the teams an opportunity to interact on our website, but this also allows like the general public to interact with the teams. And if you guys have anything about sponsorship requests, technical questions, or anything, you can go ahead and like interact through this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you. Oh, look at this. Welcome to Michael Aubrey. There we are. Please provide your MUT username. I'm going to be Mike Amazing.
Yes.
Mike UAV. I'm going to be Mike UAV Aubrey. Yeah, and I agree to the terms of service. Okay, this will be cool. No, I'll definitely check this thing. It'll be nice to keep in touch with everyone in this kind of setting.
Because I think that was one of the things that teams wanted to know. How can you communicate? And I think as we get closer to the final competition, the counter-poaching games, I believe some teams might want to consolidate with some other teams. So this would be a great opportunity platform for you guys to interact with each other and see if you want to continue as a single team. If you really feel like you want to partner up with another team with the technology that you guys have, this would be a great place to communicate with them as well. Not going to take up any more of their time. We're going to let Mike Nguyen, our special guest for today, who has an amazing story actually, to share his background and how he actually got involved with this.
Yeah. Definitely, I'll go through that now. I actually just wanted to ask before I started, how many people do we have here? Like how many teams?
So right now we've got 11 on participating, and so
actually,
guys, as always, if you want to ask questions of Mike as we're going, we're going to be watching the chats. Now we have 12.
Actually, I see 17. So I think sometimes it's yeah. So
that's including the 4 of us.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
That counts.
I got the right sig fig. I mean, we're talking dozens, not hundreds.
Yeah, I would love to hear more about you guys and the teams and what brought you here. But let me give you my story quickly. I've got a short presentation. It's mostly just big pictures to run through, and then I thought I would give you a demo of what we've been building.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
So, drone deploy. So what that is basically we're building cloud control for drones. I'll get into why that is exactly, but we basically think these are flying robots, and they should join the Internet of Things to actually unleash their full power, to make them as easy to use and to be able to make them as capable as they should be. They need to be connected to the Internet. So we're building a set of software that makes it easy to use drones to actually not just fly them, but to actually collect data and process that data and make decisions. So the first thing I wanted to start out and just say thanks, guys. Thanks for working on this. It's obviously a hugely important project. Rhino poaching. I'm a South African. In fact, our whole co-founding team is South African. We've all grown up around going up to game parks, and we've seen this problem grow massively in the last couple of years. In fact, it is the very reason why we started our company. Let me jump into that. So basically, back in 2010, I was flying remote control helicopters. I've been flying them for years. Quadcopters didn't yet exist. And I was just getting into airplanes. And at the time, I was working for Google in Ireland. And I kept on getting sent back to South Africa to do work. And every time I went back working for an American company, they insisted that I had a security driver. So I met with lots of people from the International Police Force in all my travels. And a lot of them were involved in anti-poaching training. And as I got speaking to them, I realized, you know, these toys I've been playing with for years could actually be a great tool in the arsenal of game ranges. Obviously, you guys know there's a massive area to cover. I don't need to preach to the choir. So we started looking into using what I was calling a remote control airplane at the time, drones, to do surveillance over national parks. And we investigated this for about 3 months, talking to a lot of game rangers, guys in the security forces. And while we were really excited about it, we realized at the time the technology was just not ready. The planes themselves didn't have great endurance. It's actually much improved over the last couple of years. A lot of them were powered by gas, meaning they were really complicated. The software was, the Autopilots were not very reliable. They're much better now. And the worst thing was that before we could actually give somebody a drone in the field, we had to teach them how to use a laptop. And we didn't think it was a great solution to give rangers laptops to carry around in the field before they threw up their drones. There was no way to control many drones to get something done and to deliver that information back to a central place where decisions could be made. There was always this one-to-one relationship between a computer and the drone and a person standing on the ground. So that's why we started. There were people out there with massive radios trying to go long range. If you wanted to do sophisticated operations, you landed up with something like this: many screens and many people trying to control one drone. I think this is the cockpit of a Predator, by the way. This is obviously not the way drones will be practical to use. So we started building something very different. We started to build in the cloud. Drones are already flying out there. For us to be able to create this network of drones, gathering data, doing something useful together, we thought they needed some sort of central system to control them, to make sure they weren't crashing into each other, to make sure they gather all the data, to be able to get one drone to pass an information to another drone. So they head up maybe a plane which is flying over large areas can actually send an indication to a copter to quickly rush to a scene to get lower altitude pictures, whatever that is. So we didn't actually start with that. We started with something like this. I'm sure you guys have tried doing long range stuff. So that's actually a long range Wi-Fi to get video and telemetry back. You can do about 20 kilometers like that. Amazing setup. It was a lot of fun, but that's just not practical. Are you gonna, this can only cover a 20 kilometer radius or 30 kilometer radius. Are you gonna set this up all throughout the Kruger Park? And we started asking questions. Can't we just use the existing infrastructure? Obviously, we're in the United States where there is good cellular networks, but actually in Africa, there's reasonable cellular networks there across the whole of the country. I know in the Eastern Cape, where you'll be flying for the challenge, there is coverage, cellular coverage over through that park. And obviously this is just going to expand. So we started building a platform to control drones over the cellular network. And that platform is really more than just a mission planner. It's actually a way not just to instruct the drones in what they're doing, but actually get the data back and do something useful with it. So we've been building workflows for agriculture where we can literally within 2 clicks, we can get a drone flying in the air, collecting data, that data to be sent back to our server, stitched together, processed, and deliver back an agricultural analysis to a farmer who can walk his field with an iPad. And there's a couple of cool things we can do with our system because it's all in the cloud. We have pretty much unlimited range. You can fly anywhere that's there's cellular coverage, and of course you can fly where there's not as well. The Autopilot takes care of the drones, so if we don't have coverage, it's okay. You can keep on flying this thing across the whole of America. I think one day we would love to do that, get a drone to fly the whole distance of America. We'll need a couple of landings, but still. Because it's in the cloud, we can control many drones at the same time. If drones are going to be doing useful things, they'll be doing useful things together. For the Kruger National Park, I imagine you guys are all planning to have many drones in the air. For us, we can control as many drones as you've got space on screens. We're not limited. I think probably the most significant thing for most people is that we are able to get the data back in real time over the cellular network. So that's video, photos, or whatever it is. We've got a small piece of hardware which gives the cellular connectivity and connects to sensors to tell those sensors to take photos, grab those photos, and send them back out to the cloud, where they can be analyzed, and people can build systems to maybe detect the heat from if you're doing thermal stuff, you can detect the heat from the poacher and things like that. The last thing that I wanted to mention, which is very cool, is you can actually do flight collaborative.
Mike, did we lose him?
I think we might have lost him.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Win. Oh, bummer.
I know. Well, that's okay. He'll pop back up. There he is.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Mike, we lost you for about a minute there.
Hi.
So you might. So right when you turn to this collaborative one is where we lost you. The collaborative flights slide was where we lost you.
Okay. So I was just. Okay. Yeah. So I was just saying that you could not only fly many drones, but you can have many people flying the same drone. The idea is that we initially, it's just a product of our platform, but you can imagine in search and rescue scenarios, people are looking for survivors on the ground. I imagine for anti-poaching, you could have people in the Kruger Park in different spots, checking on what's happening with that drone. And what is the data collection, so the guys on the ground in different places can actually see the data as it's coming back, irrespective of where they are. And the last thing is we do cloud processing, so you can actually use the power of the cloud to do like automatic feature detection on the data you're collecting. So eventually, what we would hope is it could be an entirely machine-to-machine operation where one drone is up in the air and it detects something and it can send messages to other machines. So that's some of the features of our product. The next question is always, how does this all work? So what we do is we actually have what we would consider a fancy telemetry radio. So you've got an Autopilot, you have a drone, we support the APMs and Pixels, and you basically plug in our telemetry radio, which we're calling a Copilot, into your Autopilot. And through that's Copilot, you're actually able to send messages to your drone over the internet through cellular or other IP-based communications method, and get data back from your drone. Not just your telemetry data from your drone, but also the data that you're collecting. And all of that goes into the internet where you can control it through the cloud from whatever device you have that connects to the internet. Right now, it's mostly computers and smartphones, but we imagine in the future it will be with watches or whatever has the power to communicate to the internet. And so that's us. And we'd love to find people here to work with. We've already got one team that we're going to be giving a box. We really want to support this use case. It's a fantastic way to use our platform, but it's a really meaningful one to really do something, have good impact in the world, and an important use case that's close to the hearts of us as a company. So what we're doing is we're sponsoring 3 devices for you guys, and we're looking for you to fly with them and test them and give us feedback and tell us how we can help you succeed in this project. So that's me. I can give you a quick demo, but maybe it would be useful for me to for you guys to shoot some questions off first, and I can jump into the demo after that.
Let's see here. No questions yet. My questions, I think, are functionality based, so I imagine they'll probably be covered in your overview. So I don't have any right now.
Okay.
Here's one. Can we get flight control and video feed from your Copilot box over the cellular network?
Yes, exactly. That's what it's for, to be able to give you flight control,
Cool.
be able to tell your drones what to do, get the data back, and to be able to get you not just the flight data back, but also the video or pictures back in real time.
Wow.
And what's particularly cool, it's not just back to you, it's back to anywhere.
So that basically means if you're flying in Kruger National Park, I could be sitting here in DC on my laptop and watch the feed?
Yeah. So you can watch that data coming in from anywhere. It's just going into the internet to our servers, and yeah, anyone can access that data.
Do we have data around like what data speeds we get in that region of the country? I mean, would this be, I guess, in terms of the proprietary names like 3G versus 4G networks? I don't know if there's an equivalent over there. I mean, what?
Yeah. So, luckily enough, as a South African, I've actually lived outside of South Africa for about 4 years. I've actually lived outside of South Africa for more than half my life, but most recently, so South Africa does have actually fairly good cellular coverage between the major players. Most of it is 3G.
So does the U.S., though. I mean, but we have terrible self-coverage in Yellowstone National Park. I mean, does the actual park itself have good coverage?
It depends on where you're flying.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So for us, we can fly. You don't have to have a persistent connection to the internet.
Okay.
There are other ways to connect to our devices, not just through cellular. In fact, we'd love to work with some of you if you were looking to do some satellite communication. It's not too expensive if you're just doing telemetry. But over the area that you'll be flying for the competition, there's definitely coverage there, according to the maps. And I happen to have gone to university, at Rhodes University, just about half an hour from where you're flying, in Amakhala. And awesome. You do have a reasonable 3G.
Okay. Would this be a replacement for the current Autopilot systems, or would this be a complement?
This is a complement. So we're not an Autopilot. That's what we are. We are a mission planner. Okay. Maybe that's the jumping off point for me to show you a quick demo. So let me get that out of the way. This out of the way. I'm going to set up a quick simulator. And I'm going to get our platform. So can everyone see the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. That's too big for me. So, and this is basically where you start the operations as a from our software. You can see there's actually a couple of aircraft online right now. 2 of them are simulators. One of them is actually a real aircraft, which you might be able to watch in a little bit. And this is where this is basically the jumping off point for our customers. You can see you can do things like agricultural maps, or if you can do surveying workflows or custom things. And in the top right, there's something called SmartFly, which is a way to get your drone up in the air really, really quickly. We just build a short map around that drone, and we create some waypoints, and we can get up in the air within 2 clicks, taking photos and doing what it needs to do. So let me walk you through how you would set this up. So the first thing you want to do is let's start. You're going to do a quick coverage pattern. So coverage of Kruger Park. We're going to choose a simulator. Let's choose Simulator 8. We won't take over the existing flying drone. You can choose one of many different cameras. We're going to use a mock camera because it's a simulator. And you can choose a location. So I'm going to just fly wherever it is right now because it's way faster. That's in Bedwell Park. So to actually create the area that you want to fly over in this mode, it's just a matter of clicking 4 points, creating a polygon. And here it is. This is the mission plan that you will be able to fly. It does smart things like takes into account the current wind direction. So you see it flies into and out of the wind, because that's more efficient. It tells you how long it's going to take, how far it is. It makes sure you're not going to crash into the hillside, here with the elevation profile. You can do more advanced things if you want to, like auto takeoff, auto land, change the resolution. So this is more for like a mapping mission. Change the resolution of the pictures that you want to achieve, things like that. When you're eventually ready, you can just click on fly. And it runs through a set of safety checks. Right now, this our simulator doesn't have enough GPSs. It's quite a good simulator. It shows us in the middle of the ocean right now. It's giving us a couple of failures because this looks like the simulator wasn't provisioned correctly. It's saying that it's too far away from home. Are you sure that your plan is correct? So these are the kind of things that can really save you when you're flying a plan and you actually chose the wrong plan. Your plane is too far away. That's how people lose planes and they have flyaways. Anyway, when your plane is ready, you click on auto launch drone, and if I provisioned the simulator correctly, I'm not asking these guys why this happened, but your plane will start flying. You can see the speed, its altitude above ground. There's all the basic information like your PFD. This is showing you what's going on with your plane. You can see information about the current mission. You can look at a flight log in a second, and you can see photos as they come in. I'm going to try and do this again on production. But basically, it's a simplified mission planner where you can do all the things you want to do, but it's just a simpler experience. So let's see what I got. It keeps on giving me the same. I think we might have run out of simulators. I'm just going to knock on the window and ask for a new simulator.
So Ron had a question around the camera that you chose. You noticed that Raspberry Pi was one of the options in there. Do you support the Banana Pi?
I think they also mentioned something about the coverage being better at hundreds of feet as well, right?
Yeah, a couple of editorial comments saying that the concerns around coverage in Kruger, it gets a lot easier once you go up to a couple hundred feet. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So because you're in a plane, it works a lot better. Demo 1 and 2. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick smart fly mission. Let's see if this should work. I was using the wrong thing. So you see this, we've got these safety checks. This is basically to make sure when that it's actually going to work. You can see we haven't set up in our simulator some things like the battery checkers are not right. So it's telling you that the camera's not working. So we've got a bad day for simulator. Now the camera's working. We're just waiting for the waypoints. And when we're ready, it will take off. You can see the plane is taking off here, and it's going to fly. It's got a very short mission and quick fly.
Oh, that's fun.
What's pretty cool about our platform is we've got simulators to work against. So you don't always have to fly. You can just fly in simulation and experience simulation. You can see the PFD rolling around there. You talked about network connection. That is obviously something that's quite important. So you can see information about the network. You'll experience different coverage in different areas. As you were saying there, at 400 feet, coverage is actually remarkably better because you don't have line of sight issues. And the last thing here is you can actually get these photos back in real time, and we also have a way to get video back too. So in a little bit, you should see the first photo coming back. There it is there. And the last thing to show you that you guys would probably be interested in is that you can actually check out the data. So we automatically process the data to make maps. This is actually a farming map. Let's move that. So this is a map that we made in San Francisco. It's actually in Berkeley. So we've got a satellite map underneath, but this is the map that we made. And you can see a whole bunch of the information that is relevant to your flight. The network performance, or how far it flew, the airspeed, ground speed, all these kind of things that you can actually diagnose problems as you fly. So that's the basics. All of this stuff is also going to be available through an API, so you can get your data, you can grab it. If you want to do some automatic processing, you'll be able to do that too. Basically help you guys create a fully automated system for your drones.
Wow, this is pretty neat. We've got tons of questions, I see.
Yeah, that's very neat. A question around the cameras that you support. You got the Raspberry Pi there. Do you support the Banana Pi?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
It's the same as the Raspberry Pi. We actually, on our box, we give you a Raspberry Pi you'll fly with. So you can actually run code against it. If you want to run code on it, we'll have to talk about how we will do that. Because obviously we have our environment running, so we have to work with you to achieve that.
Okay. Were there any troubles getting RF type approvals on your equipment from the cellular networks and spectrum regulator?
No, we've taken a really simple approach to that. We're not trying to invent anything new on the hardware side. We're just using existing cellular equipment. We're not plugging in any fancy antennas or doing any of that. We're just using existing off-the-shelf equipment, so you don't need that approval. Getting that approval is not something that anyone wants to do.
Okay. The simulation you just did, are we able to do that, or is that just a demo?
Anyone, yes, so our users can use our simulators.
Okay. Let's see.
Mike, there's like tons of questions from before. That I don't know if you
Do you
see that.
process? Are there? No, those weren't questions. They were just comments. Here, I'll just keep moving through them. So Bo's asking, do you process the data to get things like elevations, maps, and point clouds?
Yes.
Got any examples of that?
So, oh yeah, one thing I didn't show you all is that you can control multiple drones. So you just connect to more drones. You can do that. So here's another drone in the ground. You can control several drones at the same time. And if you wanted the drone to do anything, you just need to double click on the map, and that will take you to a new location. Now it's going to fly to that little green dot. So I was going to show you. Make it.
Whose underlying geospatial map are you using for your simulation?
We're using it's a digital globe map from Mapbox.
Digital globe from Mapbox. Okay.
Somebody was asking about creating the ortho mosaic, so we actually create a point cloud and all of that to do this. We're not showing everything. There's a digital elevation map underneath this, which you can see. So there's a couple of high points here.
Okay. Do you support 3D map for mission planning?
No. We just got 2D maps. 3D maps can be very cool. But what we do is we just try and take care of that for the user, so they don't have to worry about 3D, the altitude part, because we just make sure that if there is a mountain, we just correct for it. So you saw in that first planning screen that we had an altitude graph, and we can make the flights actually follow the altitude, so it always keeps a relative height above the ground. The idea is the user should need to worry about as little as that of the complexities as possible. So we can just do it automatically.
Is the information that's being transmitted, is it encrypted, or can it be?
It is encrypted.
Security
is really important for us. You want people taking over other people's drones.
Yep.
So yeah, it's all encrypted.
Yep.
You'll see that beyond HTTPS here as well. So the only way to use our site is through secure protocols.
Okay. Question from Gene: why Mapbox, and how accurate is it for Kruger?
We use Mapbox because it gives us a lot more functionality than like Google Maps. Depends on different areas. So this here was in the Kruger. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you can see it.
So this is Kruger National Park. So it's pretty good.
Actually, I'm not seeing. Are you? It looks like it's paused.
I'm over like quite a brown area of the world.
It's just showing. I'm seeing just drone deploy, orthomap, agriculture custom, 2-click.
Okay, and it's different. I can't do anything in the Citrix anymore. It's kind of hung for me. I can't click any buttons.
Okay.
I don't know what to do about it.
Here, maybe.
But yes, so the answer is yes.
I'm gonna quick take away your presenter link and I'll put you back. Let's see if that does it. Try sharing your screen again.
Can you see that?
There we go. I can see you. You look good.
So this is Kruger National Park. You can see there's the border on the right to Mozambique. You can see the hillside actually. There's a big hill on the way. It does go. It gets black and white, but it's pretty good. using a different layer is okay. You can actually use different layers here as well. This is the vector map of the region. If you wanted to use the vector map with the contours, we can incorporate other layers of data as well. Especially the best thing to do is actually to be able to fly an area, and then to be able to use that. You can map it with our software and then use that latest data to fly over.
Question from Andres. Do you have plans to support other types of autopilots like a DG or a microcopter?
Yeah, we'd like to support more autopilots. We're just focusing on the Pixel to deliver a good experience there first, and then focus on other ones. That's definitely the plans. But it seems that right now that the Pixel system APMs are extremely popular. That's what most people are using. We would like to hear from you guys. What are you using? What do you think is better? Why it's better? And to learn from you guys.
Hey, Mike, did you ask the question? Sorry.
Did I ask a question?
So did you ask a question about the hardware
Sorry.
in the loop? The hardware in the loop question? Can you run a hardware in the loop? Sorry. Yeah. Ron asked the question about, can you run a hardware in the loop?
Like hardware in the loop simulation.
Yes.
Sorry, I've lost you guys.
Yeah, we're patchy. Yeah. Here, I'll read the primary question here. Let me pull that guy up.
So he said, nice simulation, but can you run hardware in the loop?
I need a bit more specific, like hardware in the loop simulation. We do on our side, not for customers. That's how we do our testing to make sure that our software is always working. If you think about other hardware on the plane, we could probably talk to you guys about that. If you wanted to do, I can imagine some people might be wanting to do like analyzing the data as it's coming in and programmatically. So we could definitely talk to you guys about how that would be possible.
Okay, here's a question from Denzel. Are the APM flight modules and parameter settings replicated in drone deploy?
Yeah, you can actually see them. Let's connect to this drone. You can see all the parameters here if you wanted to go and change anything. Can you see my screen?
Let's see, are you updating the screen?
Yeah, it should have a flight page with parameters.
Let me quick reset you. I'm gonna go ahead and share your screen again. Yeah, I guess we are having some Citrix challenges.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there we go. There we go, we see you.
So these are all the parameters that you might want to change on a drone. You want to change something, I don't know what you want to change, but they're here.
Yeah.
You want to change your PIDs, for example, whatever you want, you can just change it. Change it through our system. It's actually quite an easy way to do it. You just click on it, you can change it. I would love to for you guys to tell me what you want to see. We're building a software for use cases like this. We want to know what people want to do with it and vote for that. So if you have any suggestions or ideas that you'd love to see implemented, write them down. I can't see the chat window, unfortunately, because my
actually
is broken.
You could. We're reading them off. Actually, Princess Lee, if you promote him to be an organizer, he can see the chat stuff too live. But we can just keep reading them too. I got two more questions here. What Kitso had one asking. Using the cellular network in South Africa, do we have a contract with a provider there explicitly? And is so Kitso, I don't know when you joined, but yeah. So Kitso, I'll just ask the question. You can answer it again. I know we've covered this though. If you're using a cellular networks, do you have a contract with a provider, and is South Africa already supported?
So yes, we have the contract, so we supply that. South Africa is not yet supported, but we have a roadmap for that, and if we're hoping to work with one of the teams, one of your teams to do it. I'm guessing that there's some South African people involved. I'm sure there are. Obviously, being in America, it's harder for us to test things, so we'd love to work with the team to get that up and running.
Brilliant. Question is it possible to specify additional mavlink commands between waypoints like wait loiter and change speed, etc.?
Yeah, you can do, yes, you can. Best way to do that is probably through our API. So you can do it through our system as well when you're doing like creating your waypoints, creating the flight plans. I can imagine if you're doing something, when you actually find, you weren't just covering an area, but then when you find something interesting, you might want to get to that position quite quickly. Those things would be useful.
General question. It'd be interesting to see what is available during mission planning. I managed to spot only waypoints, which is a...
Yeah. So, let me see my screen.
I don't see things updating. Let's do it again. We're getting good at this. Hold on. Hit the share. There you go. Got it.
So you can obviously do the waypoints. So here's a quick plan. Obviously change your auto takeoff from land. You can change your altitude. There's also a mode here which, in a way, we've actually taken the button out to follow the terrain, as I talked about. Those are the main things. We do have a panel that we haven't exposed to users that we have on our dev side for doing the more advanced things like the do jumps and things like that. So if you, for example, if you wanted to keep on a repeating pattern, we're implementing that in a simpler way than it happens in Mission Planner. So that's in development.
Okay, so you can change. So that's the stuff you can change on the fly.
So that's in the plan, and then when you're actually going to fly it, the best thing to do, you can actually create a new plan and send that to the drone, or you can just give it single instructions that go here.
Okay. So
this plane is taking off and he's going to go there. You can change the modes. You want it to come home for emergency return to land. If you want it to loiter, you want it to actually now go start the mission instead of going to the waypoint. Things like that.
Huh. So Ron's got a question of what happens when you lose the connection. How do you reestablish communications? Is a backup automatically synced?
So there's a couple of things that happen. The first thing is the plane will continue to fly. It will fly until we've got it set up to fly until its last connection for 45 seconds. That's the parameters that we've set, and then after that it will return home. But there are other things that you can set up as well to just continue its mission, and it will continue to fly until it gets back signal and it will talk to you again. It's not dependent on the cellular, but it just means that you have the telemetry, you can get the data back.
Okay. Do you have video latency numbers that you've experienced while working with Drone Deploy and as you've been flying it?
Yeah, we don't fly FPV. The video is just like as a data. We haven't tried to optimize it at all. Our video is actually in our early stage. If you're seeing 500 to 600 milliseconds, that can come down quite a lot, but it depends a lot on your signal and the technology you've got in your cellular. So if you're using 4G, it can be very fast. It could be 200 to 300 milliseconds. If you're using 3G, it is going to be a bit slower.
Okay.
I'd be really interested to hear from you guys. Obviously there's video, but there's also just taking static images. Is also could be as useful as video. So I'd love to hear what reasons people would have for wanting video over static images, which can be higher resolution.
I have a question. Right? So some of the stuff that we're doing for this challenge is we're trying to do stuff with image recognition. Have you or any of your customers done anything like with logic statements about being like if something is identified that certain missions will be activated over others based on real-time things that are discovered?
Yeah, so we have one where we did some boat detection. It was for Coast Guard kind of work. On board the drone was doing some detection of boats. It was a fairly easy problem actually. and then the plane would just take a slightly different behavior. It would go to a lower altitude and circle over that boat.
Oh, cool. So you have done it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really
Okay.
cool doing those
Yeah,
fun things.
it's exceptional. Gene had a question. Can the link also control the camera? Hold on. Can the link also control the camera from soda straw to large area? I wonder if is that. I'm not sure I understand the question. Does that make sense? Gene, can you rephrase that question? We'll try it again. Robbie has another one. Can we repeat the mission once completed in flight? Once the mission is started, can you click on a point and say follow me and change the mission? So Robbie's got questions around kind of updating things real time.
Yeah, so we've got a drone here running Sim 7. So you can actually just send a new set of waypoints to that sim data on the fly. And follow me, we haven't implemented that yet, but that's fairly, yeah, it's going to be fairly trivial if we have the location of the mobile device controlling it. So if we just choose a mission on Sim 7, you click fly, you actually go there and start and send it to that mission. It happens to be the same one.
There we go.
We get
Cool.
a new one. We'll just send the mission and start from there.
Can you show off some of the ways you're controlling things? Like, there's some questions around like how do you zoom versus pan, and are there ways to control the different camera angles? Can you kind of just show off the ways to kind of navigate around?
So zooming is just like Google Maps. It's
Okay.
you can zoom in with two-finger scroll, all these buttons. You can change the layers that you're looking at. So it's quite a fun one. This is the national airspace. If we zoom out, you can see the national airspace of America flying underneath the red zone of San Francisco Airport, one of the busiest airports in the United States.
So you're using a touchscreen right now?
No, this is using two fingers to scroll on my MacBook.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
This works equally on a touchscreen on a phone. It basically just condenses down. I'm not sure if you can see.
Okay.
The whole interface is designed to work on whatever type of device. So it's responsive. The idea is actually moving more and more towards cell phones. That's the easiest way to actually use our software. Because you're out there in the field and everyone's got a cell phone in their pockets. It's very easy to give people, those Motorola E's are $150 cheap, and you can control a drone without any other equipment apart from a cell phone.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
That's neat.
What was I was saying? Controlling cameras, we actually have been controlling cameras at start, stop, and we can change some settings. We haven't been doing work with gimbals, but I guess that's just something I guess you can control that with a Mavic. So that is something we could support, but we'd have to work with you guys to figure out exactly what you want us to do.
So Denzel had a comment earlier on the question about cellular contracts. You can use in South Africa. You can use prepaid cellular SIM cards in the Copilot within South Africa. There's no need to enter into a contract.
That's true, and the data is not that expensive in South Africa either. It's good.
Can you talk some of the ways about what happens when the drone is flying or zooming in on a target? Kind of how that would look.
So if the drone is just flying around, I guess you can send it somewhere. You can send it at a different altitude. Let's make it 30 meters a bit lower. And you'll just see the photos coming back, and they'll get lower and lower. You can see this has taken 350 photos so far. Yeah, I mean, this pretty much does what you tell it to do. You want it to fly in a direction, go there. If it's a plane, go circle that spot, and the same behavior you would be used to with a pixel for an APM. And you'll get that data back in real time. The interesting thing is to be able to point that camera in the right direction. That's something that we'll have to work with one of the teams to implement.
Okay. So this stuff, you're showing this stuff going live. I'm assuming because it's cloud-based that you probably have some sort of collaborative post-reporting side to the software. I guess I'm making too much assumptions. Do you have something like that? Like, as you're archiving all this information and stuff, do you have kind of a reporting system?
Reporting. Sorry, I missed the first.
A reporting system, or kind of like a summary of what happened in the flight, or these are the different flights that you've occurred. I mean, do you have an environment there that kind of shows this record of all these different photos that have been taken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our dashboard. So this is all.
Oh, that was the thing. Okay, yeah. Okay.
We can see what we've flown, when was flown, with what camera, what device.
There you are. That's
we'll click on the data to get information about it. So this is a flight that never actually took off. So you can see this is the network performance.
Yeah.
Travel. You'll be able to see that if there were maps that would come over here. We haven't actually created an interface right now just for raw photos. Because none of our customers have needed that yet. But I guess that's something we can just build. I can actually show you the photos of this.
Is this customizable?
Yeah, we've got an API that you could use that actually uses has all this data, access to this data. We definitely, what we're trying to do, you see on that first screen that we've actually just listed out a couple of the use cases. The idea is to help people with specific things they're trying to do. So for a farm, we show less information and we give them less options. The idea is that there are very many different ways to use a drone, and you actually should be limiting the functionality just what that person needs. So you can imagine, like in a game range, all you should be doing is throwing it up in the air, and it should be covering a preset pattern. He potentially doesn't need to click any other buttons, and just watch the data come back.
I like that vision.
Yeah,
totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, I had this vision in my head. I mean, could you come up with some way to, as you're finding positives, could you record those down? Like, hey, this is this a positive or not a positive match? And that's sort of like kind of way of sorting things.
Yeah, and you could learn from that. I think the best thing to do would be to use we can provide access to the API, and for you to actually use that as to build your own little interface around. You get access to the photos as they're coming back.
The photos, the GPS information, pattern mapping stuff. That'd be amazing. That'd be so useful. A question from Bo. Can you control the drone and payload independently? Say if you wanted to track a moving target. Is this specifically for mapping and less for ISR?
It's been designed more for mapping to start with, because we want more customers in those areas. But all these, that's designed as a general platform, so you can do those things. So if you control the drone there, as I said, we just need to implement a way for you to control that camera on a 2-axis or 3-axis gimbal. It's definitely possible. Just a matter of implementing it.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why we're talking to you guys. We want to find out what are the use cases for drones and what are the things people need. There's no better way to actually design something that is useful than to actually just get people to tell you what they want to see.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? I guess the next thing to talk about is just how do we get in touch with you? There were a couple questions asking like, hey, can we get in touch with Mike after the webinar? How do you want us to get in touch?
Just email me. That will be the best. My email address is mike@dronedeploy.com.
Mike.
I would type it if I could interact with this Citrix, but I can't interact with it. So.
Yeah, I got it for you. Mike@dronedeploy.com. Here, all right, guys. So let me send this to everybody. So check it out. There we are. Mike@dronedeploy.com.
I wish I could see the names. I can see some potential South African names there, but I can't scroll.
Wait,
Ron has a question around availability. What's the status of production and availability of your product?
So it's we've actually just run out of our first batch, and now we're on our second batch. They're a lot smaller. Here is a 3D printed version. It was significantly bigger the first time around.
Oh, look at that.
It's just about getting these things finalized. We're sending out our first ones to tester this week to make sure it's working.
What are the dimensions of that? I guess to kind of fit it into the drone.
It's 3.5 by 2.5 by less than 1 inch.
Okay.
been learning how to use inches.
All right.
So
yeah, well, it's global. You can talk centimeters. It's fine. You aren't hurting my feelings or our feelings. All right, 3.5 by 2.5 by what? By 1? You said?
less than 1, so 0.9.
All right. Those are inches, all you global people. So I'm going to use the little paw.
So funny enough, I don't know what inches are, but I don't know what the dimensions are in centimeters. Luckily, I have a big ruler. So it's 6.3
6.3
by 9.4
4 by
2.5.
2.5. Well, look at that. See, the imperial system was easier.
Yeah. Well, just designed by a guy that was using inches.
I always think it's cute when I go up to Canada and they say think metric and they highlight the K and the M between the think and the metric. It's cute. They're fun.
Yeah.
So I posted those dimensions, guys, in the chat. So if you're you can just copy and paste them.
I
I don't think it'll be too hard
weighs
for you
about
to model a cube.
I think there's one
It
question
weighs about 100.
Yeah, there's another question. Oh, how much does it weigh?
I was just going to answer that. It weighs about 110, 120 grams. It's actually
120 grams.
somewhere between those two numbers.
Okay.
And basically, you plug in, depending on what you want to use, but generally you can plug in one port for telemetry. If you need extra power, if you're running lots of USB peripherals and things like that, there's another port for additional power, which is just a 3-pin plug, like a servo cable. And so yeah, one plug that goes into your APM, and potentially a second one if you need more power.
Actually, let's see. Do you have a link to your specs on the website here? That might be an easier way to do it. Don't? Okay.
We this is all news. It's like it's just in development. In fact, those numbers might change slightly. This is version 2. Version 3 will of course be smaller again. We're hoping to between version 1 and 2 we reduced volume by 50%. We hope to do that again for version 3, which will be out, I don't know, towards the Q4.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, you have a link and your frequently asked questions right there.
Oh, but that's the old dimensions.
Yeah. Oh, the old. See, I'm trying to help you out, man. Plugging the website. No, it's a nice website. Like it's crisp. I like it. It's clear.
Thanks.
Okay. Let's see here. What other questions do we have here? I think are we caught up? I think we are.
Woohoo! Right on time, Mike.
Yeah, we run a tight ship.
To go.
Well, all right, friends. I guess Princess Aaliyah, do you have any kind of closing announcements or previews of what's to come?
Yeah, well, we got our CDRs in for most of our teams, and I think there's a few that have asked for extension. But the most exciting news I think I got is National Geographic is filming the Wildlife Conservation UAV Challenge. I've done my first interview with them.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I know, I'm super excited. They're going to be filming one of our teams in Virginia because it's a local thing in their lab and stuff. So that's Rhino Shield.
Okay.
It's a UVA team.
Okay.
They have a 3D printed aircraft, so that's part of the whole innovation and invention. So that was exciting for us. So they'll be filming that, and I believe they might actually go out to Portland. Mike, if they do, get your team ready.
Okay. You were saying that would be in August, right? Yeah. Let us know. I mean, give us. I'm going to Europe at some point here, so yeah, don't do it in the beginning of August.
I won't. And I also got contacted by ABC Nightline from a producer from them, and they said that our project is the most innovative in the entire world right now. So that was a pretty complimentary comments coming from a news channel. So that was exciting to know that we're leading the innovation with UAV technology, with our embedded systems, onboard processing idea of what we want to do with counter-poaching. So that was exciting. So keep up the good work, teams. And then I guess other than that, AIAA actually has made an offer to us to kind of take back that whole abstract paper, and they're going to give us our own panel at the next SciTech conference. So yeah, so that's going to be super exciting. I think that'll be fun. So those are some of the up and happening things.
It's very exciting. What is that?
That's January 2015. So it's actually after the finals.
Brilliant. That'll be
So
awesome.
we have, yeah, so the teams that did submit their AIAA abstract papers, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But now I just got an email, I think it was yesterday, from them saying that they want to give us a panel for their conference. And I believe it's either going to be on the 5th or the 6th of January. So we'll have some of our teams, we'll have some people from the leadership team, we'll have some people in the industry that will be part of our panel. We get 3 hours, so I think that's going to be super exciting.
Wow. That's awesome. Nice job, guys.
Yeah, good job, guys. You're doing a great job. And Mike, thank you so much, Mike Wynn. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us about Drone Deploy. I think it's a super exciting, innovative project that you've started, and so glad that we kind of linked up, and having that background being from South Africa and how you kind of developed the whole Drone Deploy. It fits right into what we're trying to do. So we're glad that you're able to help us out with the sponsorship for 3 WCU AVC teams, and we're able to provide you real-time feedback in terms of what can you do to improve Drone Deploy's Copilot.
Yeah, we're very excited. Like, I couldn't believe when I read that it was going to happen in Amakhala. I've driven past that game reserve 100 times going to the airport from my university.
Yeah, so small world, right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
And Mike, thank you, Mike Aubrey, as always, for being our great host.
The best. Mike Wynn, that was an awesome presentation. I had really interesting stuff. Yeah, I don't think you'll have any trouble finding 3 of us that are interested to try this out. Yeah.
Please all email me. I'd love to hear about your projects, what you're using. It's always instructive to hear about the different technologies people are using and building 3D printed aircraft. That's exciting. Yeah, what are the things you're planning to do? We want to be an aid to the industry in general, helping drones do good things.
Yeah.
And everyone is in the learning stage. So that's what you guys are learning.
Hey, Robbie, I think there's one more question. What's the cost? So let's say if a team doesn't get the grant and if they want to purchase the Copilot, what would be a cost, and would there be any discounts for the WCU AVC team?
Yeah, we have an educational program. So in the box is $250.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can work something out for the teams as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks everyone. Good luck.
All right, friends. All right, guys. You guys have a marvelous rest of the day, and happy flying.
All right.
Later, guys.
All right.
Bye.